So today I want to continue talking about transit issues, and it's pretty common that you have heard of something called weekend subway closure. Is the transit department, they shut down portion of subway and to do some subway maintenance, track work upgrade, or signal work upgrade. And it's happening in many cities in the world, and I think it's necessary because many trans systems already hundreds, not hundreds here, maybe 20 to 30 or 40 years old, and as the time passes, these kind of systems is not that stable or reliable enough. So they do need to do a lot of maintenance to ensure that these kind of signal system and the track system is still safe and reliable. So I think it is pretty common in the weekend closure is definitely not a great thing for the customers because it will always bring confusion, anger, disappointment, or some kinds of inconvenience to passengers. So that's why the transit department need to have a great replacement plans to accommodate, to move, to transport the passengers in case of the weekend subway closures. So that is what today I want to talk about. It's how to implement a great transit replacement plan here. So let's just start it with something very simple. I draw a map here. So in here you can see these are the 5 stations. I imagine this is a line and these are a circle is one subway station and the next one is subway station. So I'm gonna talk about some very common way. It's the shuttle bus. The shuttle bus usually make a stop at each subway stop, and this is the bus. And you can see here very clearly that a shuttle bus makes stop at each subway stop and transport passengers. And the shuttle bus cannot carry as much as people as the subway. Subway can carry hundreds, thousands of people, but a bus can only carry about 50 and 60. So usually you get very crowded, very not on time, very not reliable. But this is kind of one of the only way to solve these kind of issues during a subway closure is implementing a shuttle bus. So that is a pretty good idea, that making shuttle bus service at all stops. But let's take a look what Toronto is doing this year. Toronto was doing these kinds of shuttle bus things last year, and they have shuttle bus making all stops to the downtown areas. But this year, they kind of changed the ideas of shuttle bus. They choose not to use the shuttle bus system. Instead, let's take a look what they are trying to do. Give me a second. Let me give you an idea of how things mess up in Toronto transit system. So this year, they are still having shuttle bus, but it's quite different. You can see that the situation is all this part down here to the green line is all shut down. The subway is not running from. You can see the north stop is called Downsview, the south stop is called St. George. All of these sections is not running. But you see, the shuttle bus is only operating between these 4 stops, from Downsview to Lawrence West. So they only service these few stops. And for the rest of these 4 to 5 stops, they are not serviced. There are no shuttle bus from here to here, which is a little bit weird. And let's take a look at what they're asking the passengers to do. They're asking the passengers to take all these regular bus routes. They want the passengers on this side of the subway line move to that side of subway and to use that side of still operating subway to get to the downtown areas. This part is downtown, and this part is the North York, which is the north part of Toronto. They want them to utilize the bus routes to go to that way and go down, or use some of the these routes or these kind of routes to get to downtown, which is a little bit mess and is causing many customers confusion because they end up don't know where they should go, which bus they should know. And I don't think this is a very, very efficient way of doing things. First, let me explain. First, many people don't know this because in their mind, they're thinking that, oh, if the subway closed, well, there should be a shuttle bus service or a stop, so they just go to the subway station and take this shuttle bus, go to downtown, right? But this year, it's not the case. They have to take regular bus route, go to another side of the subway line, and go to downtown, and that is causing mess. That is super messy. And for people who don't know this, who are not familiar with transit, like tourists, like many senior peoples, they are really, really confused. They have to transfer from subway to buses to shuttle buses and back to subway, and that is so messy. And these kind of things like a puzzle. If you're not familiar with transit, you're pretty sucks with these things. This is not okay. Very bad ideas. Make an easy, simple, great transit. Or make a great, easy, simple shuttle bus system. Make it easy. Just like what I said before. Just make a shuttle bus like this. Not letting people to take these kind of regular bus routes to find way in the Toronto. It's not great. It's confusing many passengers because last year they were doing the shuttle bus like this, but this year I don't know what the hell has happened. They transferred to something like this. It's not good. It's really, really complicated. Even I am very, very familiar with transit system. I felt really, really bad. I have to getting prepared. I have to plan for 10 minutes before I leave home on finding a way which bus routes I'm taking. It sucks. So please, Toronto, please don't do this. Please, Toronto Transit Commission, I don't like this idea. It's so bad. Because the subway closure is already very confusing things. If you're making the replacement system more complicated, that will causing more confusing, more unhappiness, more disappointment, and more people to angry about this. It's not good. So there are two ways I think Toronto Transit Department can do to solve these kind of issues. First, get back to the system. It's simple, it's easy, it's at least understandable. Make a shuttle bus that stop at all the subway stop. Make a shuttle bus that stop all the subway stop. And second, add more buses at these regular stop in these areas. You have to do two things. You have to do both two things. And that will really solve the issues. The first, making shuttle bus system stop at all subway stop. Second, increase the bus frequency at the surrounding all these regular bus routes. And that will really solve the thing. That will be a really great replacement plan. So please, I'm asking Toronto, please stop doing this. This is, I think it is not really an efficient thing to do. I don't know who planned this, I don't know who make out this, but please stop doing like that kind of analysis to get these kind of things. The analysis don't work. You have to do like real-time experiment. You have to do a lot of testing to really calculate how much travel times or how efficient or how simple a replacement plan really is. You have to test it. You have to turn to realistic, not like doing a lot of analysis and calculating the time on a paper. So for the planning department, do some testing, do some experiment, not doing that kind of analysis. It's useless and it's causing huge confusion for our customers. And that is the reason why you're getting lower ridership, you are getting bad customer satisfaction. So that's what I want to talk about today. And yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. That is something I'm very confusing about. And Toronto, there are a lot of weekend subway closure like this. So think about how to make a smart, great replacement plan. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye!